franchised, we personally make sure the quality's there at every location. So stop in and give Barro's Pizza a try. It's authentic food from our family to yours.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 five-star Google reviews from across Arizona. Like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a loaded cash explosion. It happens every time someone wins loaded cash explosion scratchers from the Arizona lottery. Oh, it's happening again. Since tickets are loaded with $1,000 prizes with explosive top prizes of $2.5 million. Plus, a second chance to win $1 million in the Players Club. Head to an Arizona lottery retailer and play loaded cash explosion scratchers today.
Attention high schoolers, let's collab this summer with free summer school at Primavera Online. Our summer courses are flexible and only 4 weeks long. Now enrolling for grades 9 to 12 at freesummerschool.com.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
Potentially the most important series of the season thus far. Let's add another name to the list of finalists for the Phoenix Suns. And will the Diamondbacks listen because the rest of baseball is speaking to them? All of that on today's edition of the Lunch Break right here on KDUS AM 1060, always streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app, and you can watch the program over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Chris Schubert with you, Friday edition of the program. It is a Take Friday on the show. Want to hear from you. That's where producer Evan comes in, 480-864-1060. Takes all throughout the day. The best take, we'll pick it either during the leftovers or after the show. You'll get a phone call from us. We'll hook you up with a $50 gift card to Von Hansen's. But you got to get in here on a Take Friday at some point, only via the phone lines. You can chat with us over on YouTube, but to be a part of Take Friday, you got to call in, talk to producer Evan, and join the program here today. So we'll get those calls in throughout the course of the show today. But where we start, yesterday was all about activity. It was about what the Diamondbacks would do. We debated on the different options that they had to do something to try to turn their season around. Well, yesterday, they did something. Just don't know if it's the something we all wanted, and that's where we'll start today's program.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
Reporting indicating that the Arizona Diamondbacks will be sending down Kevin Ginkel to AAA Reno. And in his place, Jeff Brigham will be called up from Reno to replace him on the roster. So for everybody out there who wanted the Diamondbacks to do something, there was a producer on this program who said, you got to do something. Give me something that shows me that you're trying to fix this. Give me something that shows you understand the problem at hand. And yesterday, one of the longest tenured relievers on the Arizona Diamondbacks, a guy who has been here for basically the entire Torey Lovullo tenure, was sent down yesterday. A guy who before the season was supposed to be part of your three-headed bullpen monster. It was supposed to be A.J. Puck and Justin Martinez splitting the save duties, and Kevin Ginkel was going to be your prime setup guy. In the spring, we actually talked about, was it a three-person race to be the closer of this team? Could Kevin Ginkel do enough to close the gap between himself and Martinez and Puck? There's a legitimate conversation in the spring about Kevin Ginkel being in the mix for this closer's role, and yet here we are, not even through the end of May, and Kevin Ginkel has been sent down to Reno. The message that sends is where I want to start today's program, because that is a strong message by this organization. Now, yes, Kevin Ginkel had a 12 ERA. So just statistically, it's an easy move to make. He's not pitching well at the big league level. He's costing you games. How many on the meltdown meter is Kevin Ginkel a part of? It's a couple of these where Kevin Ginkel has his fingerprints on. He certainly had his fingerprints on the game, the last game, the most recent game on the meltdown meter, that May 27th game against the Pirates earlier this week, blowing a 6-2 lead. So his fingerprints are over some of this. He's got a 12 ERA this season. Statistically, just on that basis alone, it's easy to make this move. You are not performing at the big league level. You are actively hurting our chances to win baseball games. You can't be a part of this 26-man roster. We're 2 games below 500. We're trying to turn our season around, and we've got to be able to hold on to a 4-run lead. We've got to be able to hold on to a 5-run lead late. I don't think we're asking a whole lot. And if you can't do that for this team, you're not going to be on this team. And so that's the message that the Diamondbacks sent yesterday. But they added a little bit to the message because this is Kevin Ginkel. It's a guy who's been here. It's a guy who's been a trusted hand for Torey Lovullo. Out of everybody in this bullpen, right? Kevin Ginkel's been here the longest. He's been a guy that's been turned to when times have been tough, when you need somebody to steady the ship out there in the bullpen. Kevin Ginkel's been the guy. That's the guy they sent down yesterday. So it's not firing the manager. No. It's not firing the pitching coach. It's not a big trade to go out and get a reliever. It's none of those things. I will grant you that. But they did something yesterday. It's the right thing. It was the thing they needed to do, and they did it. Will it help? We'll watch some baseball games over the weekend to see if it helps.
Who knows if it'll help, but I do think that it holds the team accountable. And it shows that, like you said, Kevin Ginkel's the type of guy that you would feel is above getting sent down, given what he has done in the past for this team. And now you've sent a message that, hey, if you're not giving us what we think we need out of you, if you aren't playing up to standard, does not matter what your name is, does not matter who you are, we are in the business of winning baseball games.
Kevin Ginkel has been with the Arizona Diamondbacks since 2019. He's been a member of this bullpen from the second that Torey Lovullo got here. That's the guy they sent down yesterday. And again, you can come back at me and say, Chris, he's got a 12 ERA. Of course he needs to be sent down. Yes. But as Evan just pointed out, you don't always do that. You don't always send down the guy that's a long-tenured member, that clearly is a trusted person for the manager. Those long-standing guys, when they struggle, they're kind of afforded the opportunity to work through those struggles at the big league level. This isn't Jordan Lawler. This isn't a 23-year-old prospect who you called up, you gave him a chance, it didn't work out, he's costing you games, and you send him back down to work on things. This is a guy who's been here since 2019. This is a guy who last year pitched 70 innings for you out of the bullpen. The year prior, 65 innings. The last 2 years has picked up saves for you. So he's been a guy that Torey has turned to. That guy and his 12.6 ERA was sent down to Reno. They didn't fire the manager yesterday. So if that's what you were rooting for, if that's what you wanted, if that's the only thing in your mind that's going to turn this around, then you did not get what you wanted yesterday. But I think we all understood, from listening to Mike Hazen, from listening to Torey Lovullo, to just watching the team play baseball, seeing where they are in the standings, seeing their record, seeing that they just lost a series to Pittsburgh, you knew something was going to happen. You knew it wasn't just going to be Jordan Lawler being sent down yesterday. You knew there was another move that they were going to make, and it wasn't just Kevin Ginkel, because they added a couple of relievers on minor league deals. So not guys that are immediately pitching for them, but they signed to minor league deals Sean Reed-Foley, former Met. They assigned him to Reno, and Logan Mercado, a young pitcher. I think he's 24 years old, and they assigned him to the Arizona Complex League. So not being assigned to Reno, but they added some minor league relievers yesterday. They promoted somebody internally. They sent down Kevin Ginkel. And let me just break the news to everybody. This is what you have at your disposal right now. These are the types of moves that you can make. I was looking today. I read a story in The Athletic from Ken Rosenthal, kind of giving a lay of the land ahead of the trade deadline. And we're a ways away. We've got a whole other month before it's really trade month. At July, end of July, early August trade deadline, we are miles away from that. but he was kind of laying the land a little bit and talking about where Texas is at. And we're going to talk about Texas today here on the show as well, and where Seattle is at, and Baltimore, and just where some teams sit right now as the calendar's about to turn to June. And in that story this morning, he pointed out, and I didn't know this, that Craig Kimbrell is right now in AAA. Producer Evan, do you know how Craig Kimbrell is doing in AAA right now? Have you looked at his numbers?
I would imagine he's dominating hitters in AAA.
Has a sub-2 ERA down in AAA and just striking guys out left and right. He has an interesting quirk in his contract. He is right now in AAA. A team can go and give him a deal to be a member of the big league roster, and Atlanta at that point either has to let him go or
bring him up.
They have to call him up. And nobody has really pressed the issue on that a little bit. Might be something that Mike Hazen would be interested in doing.
I want to say something about Craig Kimbrell.
Well, we have a radio show, so you're allowed to talk.
Couple years, I would love to take a look at his first half splits over the last 3 seasons. And I just talk about this as a Philly. He was awesome in 23 up until the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't run out of heart. He ran out of bullets, period. And that's just who he is now. If you use him less and you use him as a piece in a bullpen, not your closer, I think he could be really good.
I'm looking for dart throws right now. I'm looking for dart throws to get me to the end of July where I can make an actual meaningful contribution to my baseball team. We have always said they're not going to be able to make a big trade right now. I know the Dodgers picked up Alexis Diaz yesterday from the Reds, but he is a shell of what he was in the past for that team, and the Dodgers are taking a dart throw. The Diamondbacks should be taking some dart throws, and Craig Kimbrell might be one of those dart throws. But other than that, a lot of moves like what you saw yesterday. We're going to promote somebody from within who's not doing great down in Reno. He's got a 5 ERA, although there was a ton of strikes, get some swing and miss. And we're going to sign some guys and add some relievers here on the margins, some minor league relievers that we get into our system and we see if they're able to produce, and we'll call them up. That's what you're going to do for the next 6 weeks. There's not a big move coming. The next big move that the Diamondbacks will be able to make when it comes to their bullpen will be the return of A.J. Puck. And then the move that they will be able to make after that will be a trade sometime in July. But we have to get to that point. This team has to get to the end of June. They have to get to A.J. Puck coming back. And so it requires some drastic moves. And I'm sorry, sending Kevin Ginkel down is a drastic measure. Numbers-wise, wasn't stacking up. But a guy who has been on this team, has been a big league pitcher since 2019, to send that guy down, that is a message attempting to be sent by everybody involved. Turn this around. Get this going in the right direction. I don't know if moving Kevin Ginkel out of the bullpen is going to fix all of the other issues they have down there. I don't expect it to fix all of the other issues they have down there. They need guys to just pitch better. They need Ryan Thompson to just pitch better. They need Shelby Miller, Jalen Beeks to just pitch better. They need Justin Martinez to find a flow and rhythm since coming back from this injury. That is what they need to do. So I ask this question to the person who all week long has been carrying the baton for the Fire Tory bandwagon. Are you okay for right now? Is this enough of a move to at least give us the series against Washington, see how this goes, and reevaluate? Or are you still full steam ahead? Nothing is going to change here until they fire Tory.
It's hard. Do I think this move is enough? We'll see, right? Like, I could be wrong. On paper, I think it sends the point in firing Tory, to me, is not the job of Tory Lavello. It's to send the message. And I think by sending a guy like Kevin Ginkel down, you get the message across that it's, hey, you got to light a fire.
Yeah.
You have to get these guys going somehow. And I do think Ginkel does that. Maybe I would have liked to see him a change in the pitching coach, but because he's new in this year, I think you have to let that sit and see what he gives you at least to the All-Star break before you make a dramatic move in that room.
Firing a manager is more of a message than it is an actual action item, right? You very rarely fire a manager because they're making the wrong lineup decisions or they're not playing the right guys. You fire a manager because the message is being lost. And you fire a manager to wake up the rest of your team. And I think to your point, you without doing that, sent a message yesterday. Does it fix everything? I don't think it will fix everything. We'll see how they respond over the weekend to Washington. And they've got to win this series against Washington, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the program. But they made a move yesterday. So for those of you out there that wanted them to do something, they did something yesterday. Just don't know if it's enough for a lot of you. For me, I thought that was message sent. Let's see how this team responds. And again, you had to do it. Guy had a 12 ERA. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here on a Take Friday edition of the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. When we come back, we thought it was only 5 guys getting an interview. David Fizdale's joining the fray, so make it 6. We'll talk about that next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
9 Inch Nails. Live at Footprint Center, September 16th. Get tickets now at NIN.com. 9 Inch Nails, live in Phoenix. Peel It Back World Tour 2025.
Pool season is coming in hot. Before you make a splash, assign a water watcher to help keep kids safe. A water watcher is a capable adult who knows how to swim and perform CPR in case of emergency. Make sure they put away any distractions and actively monitor everyone in the group while around water. After everyone is done swimming, water watchers should scan the bottom of the pool and close and lock the pool gate behind them. Ready for more water safety tips? Visit srp.net/pool.
You don't need lunch. You need a lunch miracle. You need Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet starting at $9.99. Think about it. A dozen people, 15 lunch ideas, and only an hour to eat? Lunch miracle to the rescue. Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet has fun and deliciousness served fresh. Choose from pizzas, pastas, salads, and desserts starting at $9.99 a person. The next time you need a lunchtime miracle on a weekday between 11 and 2, look no further. At Peter Piper Pizza, the fun is baked in.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Ink card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Ink Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Jim Rome here through Rome Report. Watching OKC versus Minnesota Wednesday night, I could not be more impressed with the Thunder and less impressed with the T-Wolves. Minnesota did know that was an elimination game, right? An elimination game that was over before it even started. Look, obviously, the Thunder are better, but is it really too much to ask to show up and compete? Apparently so, because the T-Wolves actually trailed by 39 at one point. And you know what makes even less sense? Minnesota quote star Anthony Edwards saying, quote, I don't know why people would think it would hurt. It's exciting for me. I'm 23. I get to do it a whole bunch of times. End of quote. Hey, Ant, maybe you do and maybe you don't. But exactly what are you excited about? You just got worked 2 years in a row in the conference finals, superstar. Look in the mirror, then get in the gym and don't leave. Luka Doncic can't believe how gassed you were by series end. I'm Jim Rome. Remember, you can follow me on the X platform at Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. So, you want to buy a house, You could go online, do your research, find the dream listing, go see it, and get catfished. Back to the drawing board. More scheduling, more viewings, more. This doesn't even look like the photos. You could finally find one that does match the photos. Then comes the offer. Stress rash? Yep, make that 3. And here's the paperwork. Yep, never-ending paperwork. It's a lot. But you don't have to do it alone. Because there's an agent who's a realtor here to guide and help protect you as you find the home that's right for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Speaking of the KDUS AM 1060 app, it's another way for you to listen to ASU baseball tonight. Pregame starts at 5:45. First pitch at 6 o'clock. They take on UC Irvine in the first game of their regional out there in Los Angeles. Then depending on how they do tonight, they will play at some point tomorrow. So you're going to want to stay tuned to the broadcast tonight. Tim will have all the answers for you when the moment the game is over of when the Sun Devils play, who their opponent will be, but some college baseball playoff action starting tonight right here, 5:45 on KDUS AM 1060 and streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app. Yesterday, we told you the Suns were down to 5. Chris Quinn, Johnny Bryant, Jordan Ott, Dave Bliss, Sean Sweeney. Those were the 5 names that were invited for interviews in the next stage. Is this round 3? Are we considering this round 3?
This is round 3.
We had the first round, then we were down to that group of 9. Now we're down to a group of 6. This is round 3.
This is round 3.
Are we?
Because we're counting no names as round 1.
We're counting your first discussion with everybody as round 1.
We've fired our coach.
We did.
We are now open.
Yes.
That's round 1.
We're casting the wide net. And then we took that wide net and we dwindled it down to 9 names.
That's round 2.
And then we took that group of 9 names.
Now it's 6 names.
We've whittled it down to 6 names.
So that's round 3.
This pace is not very good for your next Friday prediction. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, no. But in fairness, you were very early. You thought this could be done early in the leftovers. I said it wouldn't be done before July.
July.
And then we got from 9 to 4. Remember, we got 9 to 4 first, and then 2 more names came out. At 4, I was like, oh, next week we can have a head coach.
Yeah. No, I don't think we're going to have a head coach next week.
I don't either now.
We've got 6 interviews.
Now we have 6 now. When Knowledge told me a few days ago we had 4.
Yeah, now you have 6. And the latest name to join this list is David Fizdale, who is currently a member of the Suns organization, is currently an assistant coach for the Phoenix Suns. And it was yesterday, Mark Spears broke the news that the expectation is that David Fizdale is also going to get an interview during this round, the 3rd round of this head coaching cycle. And apparently there are some key players. Now, when Mark described this on social media yesterday about David Fizdale, I'm going to read to you exactly the way it was described because I think Mark's telling us something without telling us something, but perhaps I'm reading too much into it. This is the tweet from yesterday by Mark J. Spears. Suns associate head coach and former NBA head coach David Fizdale is expected to be a part of a 3rd round of interviews for the Suns head coaching job. The former Grizzlies and Knicks head coach has the support of some key Suns players as well, sources said. So let's have a little fun here, producer Evan. Who would we put in the bucket of key Suns players?
Devin Booker.
You want to add anybody else to that list?
No.
Because I don't. Key Suns players to me right now are Devin Booker and
Grayson Allen.
Devin Booker and Devin Booker alone. Kevin Durant isn't really a key Suns player unless you are deciding to hold on to him, and I don't think you are. Devin Booker is the only key Suns player right now. That's not to say that Ryan Dunn isn't important for what they're trying to do in the future. Oso Iguodaro, Colin Gillespie, the young players that they have. It's not to say that there aren't other important players, but when you use the word key Suns players, the only name that sticks out for me is Devin Booker. So is Book endorsing David Fizdale? Is Book pushing for Fizdale to be a part of this? Because it was 4 names originally. David Fizdale wasn't one of those 4 names. Then we added a 5th name because Dave Bliss's name got thrown out there. Now we're up to 5. And then yesterday it grows to 6. Now, there's part of me that wonders aloud that when those first 4 names got released, was David Fizdale not a part of that group? And then there was a push by those key Suns players to have Fizdale included. And so that's why he got added to the list late. That's the more tinfoil hat conspiracy person in me speaking.
I will tell you, remember in the Brian Gregory press conference, they asked him about his relationship with Devin Booker.
The alignment.
That was the only name they asked him about.
They did ask him about Durant and Beal, and he said that he saw Durant in the weight room and that he had dinner with Beal, I think is what he said. And so he's had some interactions, but there was a strong emphasis put on the relationship that he had with Booker and that Booker's voice mattered to him. So if you're connecting dots,
you would assume Devin Booker had words to say about Fizdale that would give him the position to be interviewed.
That has pushed him into this 3rd round. Now, again, was Fizdale always involved in the 3rd round? And
I'm sure.
And we just learned about it after all the other names? That's Occam's razor, right? That's the most likely scenario. But there was part of me that went, we had 4 names, and we added a name, and then we added Fizdale. It's an interesting way for the news to drip out. Now, I'm here to tell you, I don't want anybody that was associated with this team last year being the head coach. No offense to David Fizdale. He's got a pedigree. He's got a resume. Great head coach in Memphis. Was an okay head coach in New York. Defensive-minded guy. Take that for data. I mean, all of it. I think Fizdale's a good motivator. I think Fizdale is going to defend his players, but he's also going to push them. He does check some boxes. The problem is, he checks a box I don't want you to check. He was here last year. He was a part of this. He's been a part of this. He was here with Vogel. He was here with Budenholzer. He has been around for the last 2 seasons of this team missing the mark, missing their expectations. And you already are testing your patience with me specifically by having a GM who was kind of sort of here the last couple of years. You didn't go outside of the organization there. Can you please go outside of the organization with your head coaching hire? Can you please not just keep everything in the building? How are we going to feel if it's Fizdale? And so it's Gregory internal promotion. It's Fizdale internal promotion. And you expect me to get excited about what you're going to do this summer? You expect me to get excited?
The alignment.
That things are going to be different? That actually there's going to be a different culture when the GM and the coach were here for the last 2 seasons, a part of a team that got swept in the first round, then was 10 games below 500 and missed the playoffs? No, thank you. Again, no disrespect to Fizdale, whose resume and credentials speak for themselves. You have to go outside of the building. You didn't go outside of the building with the GM hire. I thought that was a mistake. If you want to make me feel better about the GM hire, and yesterday sung the praises of Brian Gregory, sung the praises of the Suns for how strong this list was. If it ends up being David Fizdale because Devin Booker flexed his muscles a little bit and said, I want Fizdale to be the next head coach, I think it would be a mistake. And I want Devin Booker's voice to be a part of this process. I want Book to have a seat at the table. He deserves a seat at the table, but he doesn't deserve the final say. He doesn't deserve the head seat of the table. He gets to have a voice. He gets to share his opinion, but then Matt Ishbia and Brian Gregory have to do what is in the best interest of this Phoenix Suns basketball team. And I am sorry. David Fizdale being promoted from associate head coach to being the full-time head coach would be a disservice to this team and the direction that they are trying to go in. You can't do this. You cannot internally promote for your GM and internally promote for your head coach and tell us, I am frustrated by what we saw last season. I am disappointed by what we saw last season. You should expect better. You deserve better. You're going to get better. That's what Matt Ishbia told us at the end of the season. You promote a guy internally as your GM. You promote a guy internally as your head coach. I'm sorry, but my default position is going to be nothing's actually changed. And now you're going to have to do even more work to prove me wrong. Brian Gregory, he's pushing a boulder up a hill right now with a lot of people in Suns land. A lot of Suns fans, he has to work overtime to convince them that he is going to be a good GM. I thought this head coaching process was trending in a direction of a good first step, and it still could get there. Still a lot of great names on that list. But if Fizdale kind of just works his way into this and works his way into being because there's all this talk of he's going to still be here regardless. So maybe you just make him the head coach. I think that would be a blunder. It would be a mistake. It would send a very bad message. We said in the first segment, Diamondback sent a good message by demoting Ginkel. This would be a bad message.
Change. That was the biggest thing they said in that press conference. Not Brian Gregory's, in the owners.
Biggest thing they said.
The alignment.
That's the biggest thing they said.
They talked about change and change of culture. How do you do that with an inside hire?
I don't like the play. I wouldn't like it. Would not be a fan if that was the direction that they decided to go. We are going to have some of those tough conversations. No, I don't even think there would be tough conversations. It would just be, we went bust out. I would just be done. If you hire Fizdale, you're basically just telling me to just not have any expectations for next season whatsoever.
Who cares?
Right, exactly. That's how I would feel. I'll tell you what I wouldn't feel.
The alignment.
Would not feel aligned. Would not feel aligned at all if that's the direction they go in. I have no problem with Fizdale being a part of the process. I have no problem with picking his brain. I have no problem with him making it further in this process because the Suns players speak highly of him. I have zero issue with any of it. But when push comes to shove, Ishbia and Gregory need to make what they think is in the best interest of the Phoenix Suns and not just what maybe a couple of key players want. We know players make terrible GMs.
We've seen that.
LeBron, the GM, is bad. LeBron as a GM is bad. He's not
That's
good.
to be determined.
He is not good at suggesting players to be his teammates.
That is to be determined.
He is bad at it. We know that players make bad GMs. They're not good judges of who makes a good head coach. They just don't. 480-864-1060, the phone number if you want to join us here on a Take Friday. When we come back, is it time for us to start worrying about the recent struggles of Corbin Carroll? That's next on the lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Hosier presents the Unreal Unearthed Tour 2025 live in Phoenix. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, October 7th. With special guest, Amble. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The #1 album, Unreal Unearthed, is available everywhere. For more, visit hosier.com.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting-edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics 602-837-7246 in Phoenix, Scottsdale, Peoria, and Chandler. That's 837-7246. 837-7246.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Ooh, Del Taco?
Yep, they got these new boxes that are loaded with my faves.
Hell, big boxes, come on, can I get a Del, yeah? Del, yeah.
What was that?
Oh, I bring these guys everywhere. Really enhances the experience.
Introducing El Big Boxes from Del Taco. Choose from the $5 Classico, the $7 Mex Faves, and $9 Amerimex box. More food, more flavor, more value. Only at Del Taco.
Del, yeah. Price of participation may vary. Looking to sell your home? Hi, I'm Andrew the Home Buyer, and I love making it easy to sell your house. I'll personally come and give you a cash offer the same day we meet, and I'll beat any other offer. It really is that easy to sell your home, and no need to clean or fix anything. I'll buy it in as-is condition. Call me, Andrew the Homebuyer, today to get your same-day cash offer. Visit AndrewTheHomebuyer.com.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back into the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. We got buy or sell coming up in about 10 minutes or so. Producer Evan, you want to give it another shot at teasing what's on buy or sell? You said you're new to this whole teasing thing. You want to give it a shot today?
Oh, I'll give it a shot.
All right. This should be good.
From college to the NFL, questions all around the league.
It's a great job. That's how you tease a segment. Because I have no idea. It could be college baseball. Could be. It's more probably football. It's probably a lot of football. But I have no idea. I have no idea what's coming. See, that's the art of a good tease. Excellent job here on a Friday. April, much simpler times. Baseball team was having a good month. And specifically, Corbin Carroll was off to an extremely hot start.
The basketball team was finishing up and struggling then, but hey.
Like I said, simpler times in the month of April. The basketball season was coming to an end, and the baseball team was off to a solid start. And Corbin Carroll was off to a very important hot start. In the month of April, a little bit of March in there as well, he hit .289 with 9 home runs and 4 triples and drove in 23 runs. And all of us had breathed a collective sigh of relief. Because this wasn't just the second half Corbin Carroll of last year who maybe found something. This was a return to form for Corbin Carroll. This was Rookie of the Year, MVP candidate 2023 Corbin Carroll. That's what we saw in the month of April. You flip the calendar to May, though. You get to this month, and the bullpen struggles have started to stack up. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games of the meltdown meter have occurred in the month of May. And struggles for Corbin Carroll have also come in the month of May. He's hitting .221 so far this month in 25 games. He has 7 home runs, so still has the power, 16 home runs in the first half. Only 12 RBIs, and has been caught stealing 3 times. So he is struggling compared to where he was in the months of March and April. He's actually hitting better than he was through the first 2 months of last season. He hit 190 something in the first month of last year. He hit 202 in April last year. So these struggles are not the same struggles of a year ago. And thank goodness we are not at the end of May having a conversation about Corbin Carroll being broken. He is not. He is just going through your normal run-of-the-mill baseball struggles. Do we worry, though, about these struggles? And the reason why I'm bringing this up today ahead of this series against Washington is the Diamondbacks, we all know, they're going through it with their pitching right now, specifically their bullpen. They're going through it, giving away games. No lead is safe. Every night's an adventure, going through it. One of the ways that you can get out of that type of rut is you slug your way out. You just score runs at will. You just have a really good offense that allows you to get through this rough patch with your bullpen. And so I look at players like Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte and Perdomo and Naylor and this whole offense, and I say, you guys got to step up a little bit. This is your chance to be a leader and help navigate this team through this tough time. And so Corbin Carroll hitting 221 in May is not helping this team slug their way out of it. It's not helping them produce runs to where they feel comfortable against the Pirates. They have a big lead against the Pirates. They go to the 7th, 8th inning up 9-0, 10-0. Big leads that their bullpen can try to protect. And the offense is way down the list for me right now for this team and their struggles. All of our focus right now has been on the bullpen. The situational hitting has been an issue. Hitting with runners in scoring position has been an issue. We've talked about that. But offensively, across the board, 7th in average, 6th in on-base percentage, 5th in runs, 5th in home runs, 4th in OPS. I mean, they are hitting the ball. Corbin Carroll, though, in the month of May, isn't really hitting the ball. Striking out a bunch right now. Feels like he's almost too home run happy right now. Feels like he's trying to do too much instead of just trying to drive the ball into the gap. He was hitting way more line drives in the month of March and April than he is in May. He's hitting more fly balls this month. And yes, sometimes fly balls can get out of the ballpark, but I'd rather you hit really hard line drives. Put those things into the gap. Be standing on second base. Give us that stolen base threat. And then every so often, you are going to run into one and hit a home run. He's got 16 home runs already. But he's hitting the ball more in the air, popping the ball up a little bit more, and isn't hitting as many line drives. I did the deep dive this morning and looked into his numbers in March and April of this year and May of this year and comparing back and forth what allowed him to get off to that hot start where he hit, 289 in March and April and now is hitting only 221 in the month of May. And the line drives really stood out to me. He hit 22% of his hits were line drives in March and April. That's down to 11% in May. He's pulling the ball 3% more than he was in March and April. Sounds like a guy hitting more fly balls, pulling the ball more. Doesn't that sound like somebody who's just trying to crush the ball right now? Doesn't that sound like somebody who's trying to hit 55 home runs, try to keep pace with Cal Raleigh of the Seattle Mariners?
It sounds like somebody who knows his team is struggling and feels like he has to put them on his back.
Trying to do too much. Be the guy you were in March and April. 22.3% line drives. Pulling the ball, still 44% of the time, but hit the ball more on a line. Hit those scorchers up the first baseline if you're going to pull the ball into the corner and be standing on second or third. Corbin's got enough power. He's going to run into some of them. He hits the ball extremely hard. But Corbin Carroll, I love him. He's an MVP candidate. When everything's clicking, one of the best hitters in the game. He doesn't have to hit 45 home runs. Remember when we said this is at the start of the season when he was hitting all these home runs, that he's not a 40 home run guy? This is why. To be a 40 home run guy, you have to give up something someplace else most of the time, unless you're Aaron Judge. He's a 1 of 1. Unless you're Shohei Ohtani.
But guess what? Both of those guys outweigh Corbin Carroll by 60 pounds.
Right. He's a tiny guy.
And that's not a bad thing.
No, but you gotta know who you are. You got to know that you're probably going to max out as a 25, 30 home run guy, but you're going to hit 300. You're going to drive in 100 RBIs. And you're
steal 30
You're going to
bags.
steal 30, 40 bases. That's who you are as a player. You're going to play good defense. And you know what? He made a weird play in the field the other day. Let a ball go underneath him out in the outfield. So we're making some weird defensive plays. Just got to clean it up a little bit. And again, stop trying to do too much. And so that's where the struggles start to be concerning for me, because it feels like he's trying to be a different player than the guy who got here. He's trying to be a different player than the one who can actually help this team continue to be one of the top offenses in the game, because they are statistically. With Washington coming to town, let's hope for a good weekend as the calendar will flip over to June for Corbin Carroll. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here on a Take Friday. When we come back, it's a little buy or sell. College NFL, that was the tease from producer Evan. So we'll see what he has in store for us to close up hour number 1 of the program. We will do it next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Hey listeners, it's Vince D'Alicio from the Varsity Sports Show. Tune in Saturday morning as we continue to bring the best of summer with our amazingly talented summer team. And it's your chance to weigh in if you've got an event happening that you'd like us to cover. We will broadcast live from it. Start your weekend off with a smile with the Varsity Sports Show, Saturday morning from 9 to 11 on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Phoenix, are you ready to ascend? Bring Me the Horizon, USA Ascension Program, Part 1. Every sky will build my friend. Taking over Footprint Center, October 2nd, with special guest Crawling from Hell, Motionless in White, The Plot in You, and Amira El Fiki. On sale now at livenation.com. Bring Me the Horizon, presented by the Big Red Radio.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We have unlimited data that never slows you down, covered by the Verizon 5G network, and all for less than $30 a month when you get 4 lines. And the best part, we give you a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G when you switch to the 5G Unlimited or 5G Plus Unlimited plan. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
With Memorial Day deals all month long, we're turning up the heat at Midway Chevrolet. Right now, get behind the wheel of a 2025 Chevy Colorado WT for just $31,938. That's right, $31,938. Featuring a 310 horsepower Turbo Max engine and advanced tech. This truck is built to handle your toughest jobs. There are no gimmicks, just great Memorial Day deals all month long. Head to Midway Chevrolet at I-17 and Bell Road, or shop anytime at MidwayChevy.com. Together, let's drive to Midway Chevrolet. Absolutely unbeatable. One available. VIN S11 76112, MSRP $34,590. Dealer discount $26.52. Sale price $31,938. Plus tax, title, license, customer requested ads, and $5.99 doc fee. See dealer for details. Expires 6/2/25.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Closing up hour number 1 here of the lunch break on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Hope you're all having a great start to your Friday. Hour number 1 almost in the books. I said before the show to producer Evan, let's just go out with a bang this week. Let's just have a great week.
Bang, bang, bang.
Let's just have a great show to close out the week, head into the weekend. I think we're off to a good start now. We're number 1.
Love it so far. 3 segments in. Feel good about all of them.
Feel good? Feel good that it's almost 12 o'clock already? When the show flies, that's how you know that you're in kind of
when we're having fun up here, that's when it's good.
Well, yeah.
Schmammered.
I mean, when we're having a good time, I think it shows. You're supposed to be better prepared. Right. And we are very prepared today, and I think that shows as well. It's buy or sell. 5 topics, takes, comments that I'm either buying or selling. Do we know, have I been doing more buying this week or selling? We need to really start keeping track.
Yeah, so I do.
You okay? All right.
So I do keep track.
Have I been doing more buying or selling this week?
You've been crushing on selling. You've only bought like 3 things.
Yeah. Listen, you want me to invest in the take? You want me to invest in you? It's gotta be strong.
Listen.
I sell, man.
I think you're gonna be buying a lot today.
Okay, go ahead.
Marvin Harrison needs to have at least 1,100 yards for Cardinals fans to feel good about his second season.
I hate when you do this. I hate when you just you
gotta buy that.
This is a great idea of, hey, what does Marv need to do to get everybody on board? But then you just go and you put a specific number on it.
I'm just gonna type in buy.
All right. I got distracted. Can you read it one more time, please?
Marvin Harrison needs to have at least 1,100 yards for Cardinals fans to feel good about his second season.
He needs at least 1,100 yards for the fans to feel good.
I was going to say 1,000, but you can luck into 1,000 yards.
Well, you know who didn't luck into 1,000 yards last season?
Marvin
Harrison Jr. I will reluctantly buy this.
It's a buy.
Because if he has 1,200 yards and they miss the playoffs, are people going to be like, oh, you know what? Still, it was a great season for Marv, though.
Yeah, but then if he has 1,200 yards and they miss the playoffs, that probably means Murray wasn't great, and then it won't be on Marv.
I know. I just think if they don't make the playoffs, there's going to be nothing that everyone's excited about.
Yeah,
I will. Can you write down reluctantly buy, or are you just going to write down buy?
I'll just put buy question mark.
Yeah, that's a reluctant buy for me.
After a surprising and great year for the Devils in 2024, this is one of the most important season in recent memories to keep momentum for ASU.
Oh, buy. Yeah. This is not reluctant. Strong buy. If I was Jim Cramer of Mad Money and I had just a bunch of sounders that I could play right now for buy, that's what I would do. Buy. You can have one good year in college sports. You can be Indiana and have a good season, especially now with the 12-team playoff. You can have one good year, be rewarded for it, be thrown into the playoff. You want to have that long-standing success. You want to be a perennial Big 12 title contender. It's the follow-up that matters more. The follow-up is going to matter to this more than the fun that we had during the second half of last year on this team's run to being the Big 12 champs and to being one play away, one fourth down stop away from moving on in the college football playoff. So, yeah, this season, more important than last year.
I agree.
Full stop. Now, it doesn't mean you have to win the championship. It doesn't mean that you
just can't win 6 games.
You can't. You got to be in the mix.
You have to win 9 games.
I would say you have to win double-digit games.
Yeah.
That's what this team needs to do.
D-backs need to be at least 4 games back or less by the deadline to seriously consider being buyers.
This is of the division or of the wild card?
Wild card.
Where do they stand right now, numbers-wise? I want to gauge of how much ground they need to make up if they are behind.
I want to say I think that would be staying put.
Staying put. They're at 4 right now.
If not, very close.
So within 4 games,
they're 5 games back.
So 5 games.
You need to make up a game.
Need to make up a game by the time the deadline rolls around in order to be buyers. See, Mike Hason's, he kind of gets fancy with it sometimes. I could see a world where he sells and buys at the same time. He kind of does one of those half strategies that we see some teams do. The Brewers do this. The Rays do this.
It's never worked for the Brewers. It has once worked for the Rays.
Diamondbacks may kind of thread that needle if they're kind of on the fence. How about this? This is not the intent of buy or sell, but I'm gonna read it to me one more time.
The D-backs need to be 4 games back or less by the deadline to seriously consider being buyers.
I'll buy this, but I'll add to it. I'll add a little addendum. The Diamondbacks, when we get to the deadline, will definitively be in one camp or the other. They will not be on the fence here where they're 4 or 5 games out. We don't really know what they are. By the time we get to July, we will definitively know that they are buyers or sellers.
So you're saying they're either going to be 2 games or 1 game out or in, or 10?
Yes. Okay. They are either going to be holding a wild card spot or just right on the outside of it, or they are going to be completely out of this thing. That's where I think this season is trending towards.
I don't disagree with that. The Suns need to hire a head coach with a defensive mindset if they were honest about the change in culture they have talked about.
That's what I want them to do. I want them to swing the pendulum in the other direction and hire a defensive-minded head coach. Do they have to do that in order for
the alignment
to be truthful? No, I don't think they have to. I'll sell this on that premise alone. But this team needs to go outside the building if they want me to believe that the change they talked about was real. If that
the alignment
is real and that there's going to be a new culture and a new intensity and a new effort level and just all this new, you got to go outside of the building if you want me to believe that. If you go internal with GM and you go internal with your head coach, there's no, I'm not, there's what change is coming?
It's hard to look back at that press conference when it was James Jones and it was Matt Ishbia and all this change they talked about. Well, now you're in a spot where there's really no change. You've done internal hires.
You talked about all this change if you're Matt Ishbia. You then hired a general manager internally who had no experience. So you already kind of turned your back on that statement. And then the Gregory press conference,
the alignment
went about as well as it could have. I'm kidding. It went very poorly. And everybody's now waiting to jump on the Suns for their next mistake. Don't give them that. Don't give them that mistake.
And so far, by the way, I'm fine with Fizdale being in this conversation.
Gregory has done a great job post-press conference.
So, great job. Now, he hasn't had to make a trade.
Hasn't actually hired a coach yet.
Yeah.
But this process, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. This process was always going to tell us a lot. And so far, I like what I've seen. Do they have to get a defensive-minded guy? No, I don't think so. A lot of the candidates are. So I think playing the percentages, they will end up with a defensive-minded coach. Actually, I think all of them may be defensive-minded. Bliss is. Sweeney is. Chris Quinn sort of is.
That's just, I don't even know if that's him or just the Heat.
Right. That's what Fizdale is.
Yep. The Knicks will win Game 6 in Indiana and force Game 7 at Madison Square Garden.
Scott Foster officiating that game? Do we know? I'm just kidding. I'm just continuing our bit from the other day. I'll buy this.
Yeah. If I know anything about the NBA, they're forcing this thing to go 7.
I did not expect it to go 6. I expected them to lose last night. They had a great effort, a great rebound effort. And
Cat was awesome.
And by that, I don't mean the actual act of rebounding. I just mean like a bounce back effort from the previous night out. Yeah, I think they will win Game 6, and I think they're going to rip out the hearts of their fans by losing Game 7 at home.
I actually completely agree with that. Last one I have for you, a little addition one on 6. Timothée Chalamet has become the coolest celebrity fan in the world.
You know what? Buy this. I buy this. He's doing a really good job down there.
He's got it down.
Yeah, he has taken the sports fandom celebrity thing to a whole nother level. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. Hour number 2 right around the corner. It's the lunch break. KDUS, AM 10.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Rivalry Night is back in Phoenix. Phoenix Rising faces off against New Mexico United on Saturday, May 31st at 7 p.m. and the heat is on. Tickets start at just $15 and fans can take advantage of the special $4 3-3 menu featuring a $4 all-beef hot dog, $3 Modelo, and $3 Arizona lemonade. This one's personal. This one's loud. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now at phxrisingfc.com. Phoenix Rising versus New Mexico United, May 31st. the veil.
Pierce the Veil. I Can't Hear You World Tour 2025. Pierce the Veil, live in concert in Phoenix. With Sleeping with Sirens and Beach Weather. Live at Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, June 15th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
When you hear crunch, whine, boing, Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch, whine, boing. No matter what kind of crunch, whine, or boing your AC is making, we fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free.
We not only get there fast, we polar bear promise we'll get the job done right. We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch, whine, boing. If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours. If we don't make it, your repair will be free.
No matter how big the crunch,
boing, or whine.
Wait, I thought I was whine.
You're crunch. I'm crunch. You're boing. I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me.
William is crunch.
Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
Meet Barkley. When Barkley smells gas, he leaves fast. When Barkley hears hissing coming from a gas appliance, he leaves fast. When Barkley sees dirt or water shooting from the ground, he leaves fast. Barkley then calls 911 and Southwest Gas from a safe location.
Did that dog just grab a phone and dial 911?
Gas lines can be buried anywhere, so remember to call 911 and Southwest Gas.
Fulton Homes is bringing legendary Fulton quality back to the West Valley. Explore 4 exceptional West Valley locations with more standard features and thousands of ways to personalize your home. Find out why people buy Fulton Homes over and over again. Fulton Homes, you're proud to own, we're proud to build.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. We got one more hour here this week. Producer Evan behind the glass taking your phone calls on a Take Friday, 480-864-1060. We'll dive back into some baseball here because the rest of baseball may be telling the Diamondbacks a story. And it's up to the Diamondbacks if they want to listen to that story. And I hope everybody who is in the camp of firing Torey Lovullo grabs themselves a snack, perhaps gets their lunch out, a drink, and they sit nice and close to their radio or their computer or their streaming device. I hope they're nice and close.
Was that a way of telling me I should be closer to the mic?
You and everybody else in your camp that wants to fire Torey Lovullo. I want everybody that is in that circle to listen closely because there are two teams in baseball already this season that have similar levels of expectations to the Arizona Diamondbacks that have made moves in an attempt to save their seasons. Let's start with a team that the Diamondbacks know very well, the Texas Rangers, a team that they faced in the World Series a couple of years ago. That Rangers team, to start the year, had a brutal offense, scored only 3.23 runs per game through their first 35 games. 17-18 was their record, hovering around 500, not scoring a ton of runs. What did they do to try to support their excellent pitching staff? I mean, Texas has potentially the best rotation in all of baseball. And they've just been great all year. So what did they do? They fired their hitting coach. Said, we need new voices. Need to change it up here. So they did that. Since then, 10-12 is their record, and they're averaging just 3.27 runs per game. So not a huge difference to their offense. Don't know how different their approach is. And their winning percentage, their record is actually worse. 10-12 in the 22 games following firing their hitting coach. But Chris, that's just a coach. That's not firing the manager. That's not making a change of the lead guy in the dugout, in the clubhouse. Let's talk about the Baltimore Orioles then. Let's talk about an Orioles team that was supposed to be a contender to win the American League East this year. Was supposed to finally break through and be on the same level as the Rangers, as the Yankees, as the Astros, as those top teams in the American League. And their pitching was a disaster. Their starting pitching is brutal, awful. They were 15-28, and they decided to fire Brandon Hyde. Since then, they're 4-8. So a team that didn't like their offense, they fired their hitting coach. It's done absolutely nothing. Another team struggling with their pitching, worrying about a message being lost, fired the manager. They're 4-8 in the 12 games since firing the manager. So for all of you out there that want to fire Torey Lovullo, you've got two teams in baseball. Two teams, because the Colorado Rockies firing Bud Black, that doesn't register on the same scale as compared to a team that has playoff aspirations. The Pirates making a managerial change, that's not on the same wavelength as what the Diamondbacks have expectations-wise. So here are two teams. Here are two examples of franchises that have those similar expectations, that view themselves in the light of a playoff team. And they've made those changes. They've fired hitting coaches. They've fired managers. And where has it gotten them? Nowhere. Don't misidentify the problem. Don't look at what is happening right now to the Arizona Diamondbacks and assume it is all on the manager. It's not the manager's fault that Kevin Ginkel has a 12 ERA. It's not the manager's fault that Ryan Thompson has an ERA north of 6. It's not the manager's fault that no matter who he calls for out of the bullpen when those gates swing open, it doesn't seem to matter. Jalen Beeks, one of the more trusted relievers at the start of the season, he gave it up the other night. None of that falls on the manager. Has the manager made some blunders? Yes. Has the manager had a hand in some of the games that ended up on the meltdown meter? Absolutely. Over the course of 162, no matter what team you are, no matter who you are as a manager, you're going to make some mistakes. You are going to cost your team a game here or there. That's going to happen. You fire a manager if the message is being lost. You fire a manager if the room is no longer responding to the message that is being sent. You fire a manager if you feel like this thing is on thin ice. And firing the manager is the only way that I'm going to galvanize this room, that I'm going to get these guys to snap back in to who they are as baseball players. And I just don't know if at the end of May, we are anywhere near that point right now. It doesn't feel like, to me, the message is being lost. Now, I'll tell you, Wednesday's game, losing the way that they did, having that hangover effect from the day before, looking like they just weren't into it, that is a warning sign. But that's the first warning sign that perhaps the room is being lost. With a day off, an opportunity to clear their heads, spend some time at home, spend the time with family, spend the time with friends, spend their time away from thinking about baseball. Let's see how they respond for a home series against Washington. Because, and this may shock some of you, but Washington may actually have a worse bullpen than the Arizona Diamondbacks. I know for many of us, it feels like the Diamondbacks have the worst bullpen in all of baseball. Washington's might actually be worse. Now, Washington's playing well as of late. They've won 8 of their last 11 ball games. Playing some really good baseball there in D.C. Young group that just is playing an energetic brand of baseball. Got a lot of young guys. They're chomping at the bit for opportunity. That's the team that you're welcoming into town. But let's see how you fare against a team like Washington that you should be able to beat. Win this series. get to this bullpen that isn't very good. You respond in kind this weekend. See, producer Evan, I use as a placeholder for everybody that wants to fire Torey Lovullo. I kind of beat you up for it because you're in front of me. I can speak to you about this, and you are the representation of those people. So sometimes I yell at you. I'm not really yelling at you. But for all of those people, and you're in that group that want him to be fired, if the team responds by sweeping the Nationals or winning the series against the Nationals, the message isn't being lost. The team is no longer not responding to his message. If they come out and respond this weekend and they play well and they win the series and or sweep the series, I don't think we have a message problem. We have an execution problem. Now,
what if they do? What if they get swept?
Okay, then I can start to wrap my head around the idea of maybe the message is being lost because you had a day off. You had a chance to clear your heads, and you came back and you then had some more clunkers. That is a problem. Then you do have potentially start to have a messaging issue. But if you sweep the Washington Nationals, I'm sorry, you don't have a messaging problem. You don't have a leadership problem. You have an execution problem, which is what I think this is right now. And so that's why I'm not willing to say he's on the hot seat. That's why I'm not willing to say that that's the right move for this team. You sent the message by sending down Kevin Ginkel. You sent a message. How does the team respond? If the team responds to that message by going out there, playing with their hair on fire, playing at 110%, and they sweep the Washington Nationals, then they still respond to this manager and this GM. And then you have to see it through, or at least see it through the month of June. June's going to be a really important month.
Very important.
We'll talk about this probably the beginning of next week because the calendar will officially flip. We'll break down the schedule. June is the month, man. June is the month where this team has to get it right.
It's do or die in June.
Or is we play this game where is this upcoming series the most important series? Is June the most important month of the season for the Arizona Diamondbacks? Yes. This upcoming month is going to be do or die. Buy or sell. What you do in June is going to dictate who you are in July. Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? Are you somewhere in the middle? June is going to give us that answer. How about you go into June, starting tonight? You start the turn of the calendar on a good note. Because to me, if you go out there and you play well and you respond and there's high energy and the offense is doing wonders and the bullpen's able to hold down a couple of leads, that tells me that there's still some juice in there. That room still has some fire that Torey Lovullo is tapping into. If they continue to look like they did, take a snapshot of Wednesday's game. Take a snapshot of errors by Jordan Lawler, a lifeless effort offensively. Take that mental snapshot of the way that game felt for all of us. If you see more efforts like that stack up on top of each other, then we have a problem. That's when we start having issues. That's when you have to wonder, okay, do they need a new voice? Do they need somebody that's going to say things a little differently, or do they need that wake-up call? I just don't know if we're there yet. And I'm always hesitant to firing a manager, especially in this case, because if you get this wrong, I worry about the consequences of it. If this season goes down the tubes, I think we are in for a really brutal winter, a winter of a lot of players not being here anymore, and this team looking a lot different. And that does worry me a little bit, considering the fun the last 2 years have been in terms of expectations and playing meaningful baseball and making a run to the World Series and being in it all season last year and then going out and spending money on Corbin Burns. You're going to lose a lot of that if you have another year where you don't make the playoffs. So that's my reasoning for being against firing Torey, because if you get it wrong and it spirals even further, boy, is this winter going to be rough. So I know he's been here for, 9 years now? I know, I get it, I understand. I'm just very hesitant to making that type of move until you actually know that the message is being lost. And I just don't think we're seeing that yet on a regular enough basis. We saw it on Wednesday. Be concerned about what you saw on Wednesday. Is it a blip or is it a trend? Blip or trend? The answer to that question, I think, is to the answer as to what this team is going to be moving forward. But the Rangers and Orioles are tales of teams that tried to do what a lot of you out there want the Diamondbacks to do. It's not a guarantee. Firing the manager does not guarantee anything. Firing the hitting coach didn't all of a sudden change the approach for the Texas Rangers, and now they're scoring runs at will. Baltimore firing their manager because they thought he was losing that room didn't all of a sudden change how bad their pitching staff is. Firing Torlavello isn't going to automatically make Kevin Ginkel's ERA now a 2. It's not going to make Ryan Thompson a sub-1 ERA guy. Doesn't fix those issues. So you got to be sure. And right now, I'm not sure. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here on a Take Friday. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. We're also streaming the show over on the KDUS AM 1060 Twitter account. When we come back yesterday, we told you, people aren't buying what the Cardinals are selling. Well, there might be one thing that people are buying. I'll tell you what that is next. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
You get on your bike, you follow all the rules, someone crashes into you, and now it's your fault?
If you're a rider, you're already fighting every day just to be seen. Distracted drivers love to blame riders, even when the facts say otherwise.
Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
Shine Down. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Dance Kid Dance. Live in Phoenix. Footprint Center, Saturday, August 2nd. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. It's about to get heavy. Shine Down, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner at A1 Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. Call A1 Garage Door Service, and you'll be smiling today.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Today we celebrate all of our hard work, late nights, and the most craveable Raising Cane's chicken fingers and cane sauce that got you through it. So get out there and commemorate this moment with a grad plush puppy, because you've earned it. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The Pacers still lead the Knicks 3-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals, but let's be honest, last night was ugly if you're an Indiana fan. Game 5, flat-out offensive disaster for the Pacers. Pascal Siakam, the lone bright spot in the starting lineup, and even he couldn't lift the Pacers out of their shooting funk. The rest of the starters, silent. When you're starting 5 scores, just 5 more points than Jalen Brunson, who dropped 32, you're not going to win a game. Now, look, winning isn't just about putting the ball in the hoop. Defense matters, energy matters, but this is the Eastern Conference Finals. You can't afford to vanish on one end of the court. The Pacers have been one of the best stories of the postseason. Young, fearless, and fun, but last night was a harsh reminder. This job is not done. If Indiana wants to book a trip to the NBA Finals, Game 6 needs to look a whole lot different, because Game 5, that can't happen again. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. If you played pickleball in regular sneakers, you know you can pay the price. They don't cut it. And Todd found this out the hard way. We have this great sponsor, Tyrell. They make the best pickleball shoes. So one day Todd is playing pickleball and he forgot his Tyrell pickleball shoes. Well, you know what happened? He got hurt. He was playing in some fancy different shoes that aren't meant for pickleball, and he learned a lesson. Tyrol has everything you need to keep your feet cool. They're tough, they're lightweight, they're so solid on your feet, and you're going to wear and tear on the court, and they're ready to go. Every detail is built to help you play better. Tyrol pickleball shoes. If you want to play longer, feel better, and stop sliding around in those old sneakers, go to TyrolPickleball.com. You can look like a pro. You can play like a pro. It's Tyrol pickleball shoes. You spell it Tyrol. Tyrol pickleball shoes, the best pickleball shoes, purpose-built for pickleball.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Make sure you download the KDUS AM 1060 app. It's the easiest way for you to take us with you on the go wherever you are. And if you're registered and logged in while you're listening, chances to win prizes. We just got done giving away some Diamondbacks tickets for this weekend. I believe there's some more Diamondbacks tickets we're going to give away next weekend. Just got the email yesterday about that upcoming contest, that upcoming giveaway. So you want to have the KDUS AM 1060 app in your back pocket. So go ahead and download that today and make sure you're registered and logged in while you are listening. Yesterday, we made a statement. Nobody's buying what the Cardinals are selling. And they aren't buying what the Cardinals are selling because of the quarterback. The national media has made up their mind. They've decided this Cardinals team's not going anywhere, no matter what they do, because of Kyler Murray. So we said to you yesterday, all roads lead back to Kyler Murray. Just like he's the member of the Torey Lovello Fire Club, producer Evan, also the Kyler Murray Haters Club. It's a dual membership.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to say that I'm probably heavier on the Kyler Murray.
Yeah. You're not a fan.
No.
You are not a fan. And so anytime we have the conversation like we did yesterday, you kind of give me a look like not surprised because this is, I'm not a fan.
He has moments of greatness. But to play elite level quarterback in this league, he needs to be more consistent, and he's not. And it just feels as if, and I know this is an arbitrary rare way to judge a quarterback, does he feel like a winner?
Wow, that's very sports talk radio of you right there. Does he feel like a winner? So far, no. The answer to that question is no. Doesn't feel
and
like a winner.
you watch other guys, and they feel like with Herbert, a little bit of he never won the big game in college. They had opportunities, and listen, they had to come here for a chance to play at the college football playoff. They lost to a bad ASU team. Like there was moments where you saw him not be able to win the big one.
All roads, when it comes to talking about the Arizona Cardinals, lead back to Kyler Murray. Proof positive again in that conversation we just had. Everything leads back to him. No matter what this team does anywhere else, people are going to sell their win total in Vegas. They're not going to pick this team to win the playoffs until Kyler Murray proves them wrong. Not buying what the Cardinals are selling. There is one thing, however, that is universally loved. Praise top to bottom. And that is for this defense. Saw a piece on ESPN. This morning is when I saw it. I think it was from a couple days ago. And it was the NFL offseason looking at the NFC teams' best and worst deals and has superlatives for all of the teams. And for the Arizona Cardinals, the superlative that Bill Barnwell selected was most likely to make a leap on defense. Now, I'm not sharing this with you. Sometimes we pick out these stories because They have an interesting, thought-provoking suggestion, right? Free agents that the team should acquire, and it's a name that we haven't talked about. Oh, that's interesting. Let's talk about that. Or they say something here that's not a part of the conversation on a regular basis. This one I brought up today because it's further proof. Everybody's buying in on the defense. Everybody's buying in what they've done with Sweat, with Tomlinson, with Calais Campbell, with Walter Nolan, with Will Johnson, with established players like Budda Baker, with younger players like Garrett Williams and BJ Ojolari and Max Melton. Everybody is buying in to this defense. Full stop. Everybody is expecting this defense to make a jump, expecting this defense to create chaos on a regular basis. That's the expectation. That's the floor for this defense in 2025. Has anybody seen anybody say, yeah, they spent a lot on defense. Yeah, they drafted a couple defenders, mostly defenders in the draft, but they're not going to be a better group? Is there anybody out there that has looked at the offseason that the Cardinals have had and has said their defense isn't going to be better? Because I haven't found it yet. Universal praise for what the Cardinals are doing defensively. Universal praise for Jonathan Gannon being able to work with these guys defensively to turn this subpar defensive group a year ago into a top half of the league defense, perhaps a top 10 defense. This is the one thing that everybody is on board with. This is the Cardinals are better here. Nobody's buying into Marvin Harrison Jr. year 2 jump in a big way. They're kind of on the fence, wondering, can he do it? Why? All roads lead back to Kyler Murray. There's no questions about the defense. You got a defensive-minded coach. You've got great players, all 3 levels. You're constantly investing in that side of the ball, constantly looking for improvements. Have put together on paper a better group than you've had in the last 2 years of being here in Arizona. People are buying the defense. You want proof? Over on the YouTube chat, Michael just typed in, I'm more worried about the offense. Think about that. Think about what that comment says. Last year, all of our worry was about the defense. Man, how are they going to get pressure on the quarterback? How are they going to slow down Matt Stafford? How are they going to slow down insert quarterback, Jordan Love? How are they going to slow down before everything went sideways, Aaron Rodgers? How are they going to slow down Caleb Williams? How are they going to slow down Tua Tagovailoa? Just pick any of the quarterbacks on their schedule last year. The question was, Justin Herbert on Monday Night Football. Man, how is this defense going to do this? That was our worry. At the end of the season, the end of the year, the worry was, are they going to be able to make the investments? Are they going to swing for the fences? It's easy now to talk about Josh Sweat being on this team, but there was a moment in time where maybe they weren't going to get Josh Sweat or Milton Williams. Maybe somebody else was going to beat them to one of those 2 guys. They were in on Milton Williams, and then they pivoted to Sweat. So there could have been a world where they missed out on those guys. We kind of take it for granted now that they landed one of the big fish. We didn't know if they were going to do this. We knew that they needed to. We knew that it was kind of the expectation, but we weren't sure. And now we fast forward to OTAs being underway. We fast forward to being within 100 days of the NFL season getting started. We fast forward to training camp being right around the corner and preseason games being right around the corner. And I can't find a single person that is worried about this defense. I can't find a single person that says, oh, they're not going to be better. A single person that says, oh, that's what's going to hold them back. Nobody is saying that. And yet, people aren't buying this team as a team that can win the division, as a team that can make the playoffs, as a team that can beat their win total in Vegas. Combine these stories. Today, a superlative from Bill Barnwell over at ESPN, most likely to make a leap on defense. Take what we talked about yesterday. 100 bold predictions from Connor Orr on Sports Illustrated. Marvin Harrison Jr. and James Conner will combine for 20 touchdowns. Walter Nolan will lead rookies in tackles for loss and will lead all defenders in sacks. And yet, in that same prediction story, predicting the Cardinals to not meet their win total and for Kyler Murray to play his final snaps in Arizona. Add it all up, and what does it tell you, ladies and gentlemen? It tells you the big dark cloud that is hovering over this team right now is the guy under center.
This is one of, if not the most polarizing team coming into the 2025 season.
With a polarizing player. If you land on the side of the coin where you don't think Kyler Murray is a huge deterrent to their ability to win games, then you look at the Arizona Cardinals and you think that they can make the playoffs. But if you think Kyler Murray stinks, if you think Kyler Murray is never going to be good, if you think Kyler Murray can't win the big one, if you don't think he can win meaningful football games, then you go, I don't care what you've done on defense. You're not winning every game 10-9. So I don't think you're any good. It is a very polarizing situation. Go up and down the NFL. With a lot of these teams that are in the middle ground, you can be like, I can go this way, I can go that way. With the Arizona Cardinals, it feels really simple. How good does Kyler Murray play? And how good he plays or how well he plays is going to dictate all of this. It's kind of actually easy to preview this season for this team. It's one guy. Because everything else feels like it is a constant. Everything else feels like it is a known quantity, except the guy under center. And unfortunately, that's the one place where you don't want uncertainty. That's the one place where you don't want there to be
position on the field.
An unknown commodity. The most important position on the field, we don't know what this team has. The last 2 days of stories should put it all into focus for you. They think everything else about the Arizona Cardinals is above average, if not great. Yet they're not sold on the quarterback. All roads lead back to Kyler Murray. I hate to just sound like a broken record, but every time we do one of these stories, every time we have one of these conversations, it all goes back to him. And I'm not where producer Evan is. I actually think if he's anywhere near his career high numbers wise, this team stands a really good chance of making noise.
By the way, I don't think they're not. Listen, we went through the schedule. I think I had them at 10-7.
Yeah, you had them as a double-digit win team. I think I had them 10-7. Maybe I got them to 11.
I think that is good enough to make the playoffs. Yeah. I think they are a playoff team this year. That's not. I don't hate Kyler Murray. I just think that there are better options at the quarterback position. And I think with what they're building, which I like on the defensive side of the ball, and what I think they're going to start building offensively with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride and build around the run game, I just don't think Murray's the guy that's going to get this team over the hump when you get into January and you get deep into a playoff run.
Here is one more thought for all of us to kind of file away. And I've said it before, but I think the last couple of days and the conversations that we've been having about these predictions and about the love for the defense, it puts one really important thing, I think, front and center for me. If Kyler Murray fails this year, there are no excuses to fall back on. Nothing. This isn't, we didn't have the right offense or, the defense. No, none of it. This is Kyler Murray's last chance saloon. This is it. He gets one more try at this here, or he's going to have to go someplace else. He has one more try at this. With the best defense he's probably ever had, with the best coaching staff that he's ever had, with arguably the best supporting cast that he's ever had. That's it. It's up to him now. Because we're going to continue doing this. As we get closer and closer, we're going to continue to talk about these stories that praise what the Cardinals have done on defense, and praise guys like Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. and James Conner, and praise Jonathan Gannon, and do all of this. And then there's always going to be the, what version do the Cardinals get of Kyler Murray? That's it. I can write all the stories now. That's all roads lead back to Kyler Murray. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream as well. When we come back, they start a 3-game series tonight with Washington. Is there a way out of this mess for the Diamondbacks? And what might it look like? It's next on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Judas Priest and Alice Cooper. The Metal Gods, Judas Priest. The Godfather of shock rock, Alice Cooper. October 22nd, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater with special guest, Corrosion of Conformity. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Presented by 100.7 KSLX, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Hello, this is Jan at Toyota.
Hi, Jan. Is now a good time to get a new Toyota for summer?
It is. We like to say your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer.
Yeah, I'm a pet sitter and business is way up as people enjoy their new Toyotas.
Right, your summer starts here.
Oh, that's the Walker's pet parrot, Mr. Knowles.
That's me.
They packed up their new Corolla and took a trip to a national park.
Well, through June 2nd, everyone can join in on the summer fun with a great selection of Camrys, 4Runners, and more.
Yeah, the Johnsons strapped a canoe onto their new Grand Highlander and went out to the lake.
Shh, quiet, Lou.
And Mark and Sarah loaded their gear into their Tundra and went scuba diving. Oh, no, stop. Sebastian, Goldie is not dinner.
Fish for dinner.
No, stop.
This is bad.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Good luck.
Right, your summer starts here.
That's right, Mr. Knowles. Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer with a new Toyota, but it all ends June 2nd. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
Toyota, let's go places.
It starts with a simple order, a cold Dos Equis dressed with salt and lime. But for the salt clinging to the bottle and the lime perched on top, this is the luckiest of unions. As if the universe has swiped right, pairing flavors together with a crisp Dos Equis. This is refreshment designed by fate, blessed by destiny, and served by bartenders. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Got the leftovers coming up in about 10 minutes from now. Closing up shop here on a Friday. Welcome back into the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Producer Evan behind the glass. 3-game series starting tonight for the Arizona Diamondbacks. They'll welcome in the Washington Nationals. Now, Producer Evan, I have not checked in on this with you. And so I want you on the record here with this. Must sweep in your mind, or is a series win enough for you? Don't give me that look. This is you. You are speaking for yourself. What do you want to see? If you want to make the expectations that high and you want to see a sweep because you're kind of done with this team, that's fine.
I think this is a must-win series. Couple reasons. One, they've been playing better baseball. Two, you don't get burns.
And by better baseball, you mean Washington's
been playing better baseball. You don't get burns. You have Fott, you have Merrill Kelly, and then you're going to go, you are going to get burns on Sunday. So
you get Kelly, Fott, and Burns this weekend, against the Nationals team that comes in sitting at 26-30. They're a little below 500 away, playing good baseball as of late. Winners of 8 of their last 11, including taking 2 out of 3 from the Seattle Mariners. Back-to-back games where they scored 9 runs in a win. So their offense is doing really well. They've got James Wood, obviously the star of this team. He's been awesome.
CJ Abrams has been great.
CJ Abrams has been great, but Wood has got 15 home runs. He's hitting .288. Just driven in 42 runs. I mean, he is the star power of this squad. But you are facing a Washington team that has somehow a worse bullpen than you have. Like, the bullpen for Washington is not very good. It is gettable. It stinks. Maybe we need that on the board. But it stinks. It is bad. So here's your chance, and I'm with you. Just start winning series, right? We teased, is there a way out of this mess for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and what does it look like? It starts with this. It starts with a really simple basic. Just win series that you're supposed to win. I think with the way that they've played recently, asking for a sweep, I think you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Just win series. Because if you start winning series, you are going to start to gain ground. You are going to start to make headway. You just start taking 2 out of 3 every single time out that you play. You're going to feel good. You got Washington, got Atlanta, you got Cincinnati, who you should be able to beat. Seattle, San Diego, Toronto, the Rockies, the White Sox, the Marlins. I mean, you've got, I don't want to do the show before the show because I know we're going to do this on Monday. But boy, the back part of June is where you really can start to make your mark. And so just find ways to win series. This weekend, find a way to take 2 out of 3 from Washington. You've got the pitching matchup in your favor. You've got 3 starters going that we all think incredibly capable of taking the ball deep into a game. Not going to have to ask a ton from your bullpen. But let's face it, right now, even if you get that great starting pitching, we are all going to be uneasy watching the bullpen try to hold on to anything. What is it now? Anything less than 5 runs and under, we're probably nervous. I mean, they blew a 6-run lead the other night, but it was really 6-2 when they handed it to the bullpen.
Yeah, 5 runs. Listen, 5, you feel a little better.
So 5 and over.
If one swing ties the game, I'm nervous.
You're nervous. Yeah, as you should be. As you should be. We all should be right now. There's a story yesterday on MLB.com, 6 slow starting clubs that still have the playoffs in sight. And to not my surprise, it shouldn't be to your surprise, the Diamondbacks were on this list. And they have this blurb of what's gone wrong and why are they still bound for the playoffs. And the what's gone wrong, I hope everyone's sitting down for this one. But what's gone wrong for the Arizona Diamondbacks is their pitching. The pitching is what they selected as what has gone wrong for this team. A bullpen ERA that is 27th in baseball at 5.49. Ginkel, who has a 12.6 ERA and got sent down. They've been struggling. The reason for optimism is the offense. They're 4th in OPS with a 776. Perdomo with a breakout year, they pointed it out. And that they expect a bounce back from Gallen, who has a career 3.46 ERA and right now has an ERA north of 5. So you expect some regression or progression back towards his career norms that should see some better results. So I hate to just boil it down to just simple things like win the series, but just play good, clean baseball. Don't make silly defensive mistakes that prolong innings for this Washington team. Don't give James Wood more opportunities to beat you in a big spot. Play clean, fundamental baseball, hit with runners in scoring position, get the good starting pitching that we expect you to get this weekend. Just find a way to win the series. And honestly, Producer Evan, I'm okay if this is ugly. Win baseball games. I don't care.
If you were up 9-0 and give up 8 in the ninth.
Right, I don't care. Win the darn baseball game. I don't care.
Who cares?
Win a game in extra innings. Win a 1-0 game where your only run is on a sacrifice fly. I don't care. Just find a way to win baseball games this weekend. Find a way to win a series and just get us to Monday, get us to June feeling a little bit better about this baseball team. Normally, you kind of care how it looks. You want it. I don't care. Just win a baseball game. Like producer Evan said, have a 9-0 lead in the 9th inning, give up 8 runs, and still hold on to win. I don't care. Just W, baby. Just W. I want 2 W's this weekend. That's all I want. Just start stacking those up, and then we can nitpick a little more. Okay, we can't give up 8 runs in the 9th inning. We just can't do that on a regular basis. Just find ways to win baseball games. 480-864-1060, the phone number you want to join us here today. One more segment before we are out of here. We'll close up this week of programming on the lunch break with the leftovers. So all the stories we didn't get to, producer Evan has them all. He piles them onto a plate, and we will get to them to close out the show. So we will do that here on the other side of the break. It's the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
Hey, listeners, it's Vince Delicio from the Varsity Sports Show. Tune in Saturday morning as we continue to bring the best of summer with our amazingly talented summer team. And it's your chance to weigh in if you've got an event happening that you'd like us to cover. We will broadcast live from it. Start your weekend off with a smile with the Varsity Sports Show Saturday morning from 9 to 11 on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. T&Cs apply.
Nitro Circus is back with the all-new Off the Rails Tour. World-class daredevils and FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and more. Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, and never-been-done showdowns. Friday, December 5th, Desert Diamond Arena. Visit Ticketmaster.com.
At Shane Company, we love a spring engagement. But you might be wondering, how do I find the perfect engagement ring? As a trusted family jeweler since 1929, we get asked this a lot. We have a wide selection of ring settings, like vintage designs with romantic details, floral settings inspired by nature, and classic styles with clean lines and sleek metals. Dreaming of the most beautiful diamond you've ever seen? At Shane Company, we handpick only the sparkliest center stones in all shapes and sizes, from oval to round to marquise, and more. We have gorgeous natural and lab-grown diamonds at competitive prices, in-store, ready to compare side by side. Drawn to certain colors? We're known for our rainbow of vivid natural sapphires, including shades of blue, straight out of a fairy tale, handpicked by our owner, Tom Shane. At Shane Company, we have the best free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, plus resizing, repairs, and cleanings for life. Visit us at shaneco.com or in store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back to close up here on the Friday edition of the program, KDUS AM 1060. It's the lunch break. Chris Schubert with you. Before we dive into the leftovers, we got John who called in. I think John was just testing to see if producer Evan was working today, because John loves to just kind of troll producer Evan a little bit. But we'll kick off the leftovers with a phone call from John, and then we'll get into the other stories that producer Evan has. So, John, what do you got for us here on a Friday?
I got no hang-ups today, so that was nice.
That's great. Great job, producer Evan. Great job.
My take is one that I've had before. Kevin Durant will still be a Phoenix Sun at the beginning of the season, but they will trade him before the deadline because they will get more for him at that time than during the summer.
Well, John, appreciate the take. So, yes, you've had this take in the past where you have said, and I've disagreed with you, that Kevin Durant is going to be a Phoenix Sun next year. You've now added to it. You've added a little context. Feels almost like a buy or sell kind of thing. That they'll get more from him at the deadline. Producer Evan, I think he's coming for your job. That was very buy or sell-esque.
Yeah,
from John.
He added a little touch on that I did not see coming. Because I don't think he had that piece of it.
They'll get more at the deadline for him than they will right now. I can't see that. He's going to be, at that point, 6 months older.
Yeah, I also think with the lottery and everything, you know where people pick.
You also worry, what if he gets hurt in those first 6 months?
Yeah,
and now you can't trade him. So I think if they ultimately come to the place where they want to trade him, they will do so this summer. Even if it's not necessarily the best package, I think they don't want that cloud hanging over a new coach, a new GM, a brand new era of basketball every single game. You trading Kevin Durant now? You trading Kevin Durant now? Constantly asking Kevin, are you happy here? Do you want to be someplace else? Boy, is that a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, you and I have talked about this. I don't see a world in which he either plays the entire season as a Sun.
He's not on the Suns next season.
Or
he's not going to be on the Suns next season. I feel really strong about them. They already opened this can of worms.
One of him or Beal will be a Sun next year. I would bet on that.
I think they're both gone.
You do?
I do.
Then hats off to Brian Gregory.
If he pulls this off, he trades Durant, gets rid of Beal, and again, you can just cut.
You got a lot of faith in our guy, Brian.
The alignment.
I'm trying to be aligned, man. I want in. All I kept hearing about
The alignment.
I want in the alignment. I want in. I want a seat at the table.
You're going to be aligned.
I want to be aligned.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a mistake, but right now, as we sit here today, I want to try to be aligned. So I'm rooting for Brian Gregory.
No, we're all rooting for Brian. He seems like a great guy. Nothing else to say about him, really.
No, he is a first-time GM that showed that he was a first-time GM that has to prove all of us wrong.
Yeah.
And we are.
And he can very much do so.
And I am willing to be proven wrong. I think I've made that very clear at multiple times throughout this. Leftovers, what do you got for us here to close out a Friday?
Okay. What do you want to start with? We'll start with the NFL.
I was hoping that I had choices. You can't just say, what are we going to start with? I don't know what's coming in the leftovers.
Yeah, and I just processed that,
so
and now
maybe you give me some categories I can pick from.
Trade in the NFL today.
Okay.
The Eagles have traded Bryce Huff to the Niners for what is, quote, a mid-round pick.
So I don't get a choice. You're just going to go right into the stories.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So Bryce Huff going to the 49ers. 49ers add a pass rusher who kind of got lost there in Philadelphia, was with New York. Was with New York originally with Robert Saleh. They didn't want to pay him to be a pass rush specialist, so they let him go. He signs a big deal with Philadelphia. They use him even less than New York did. Saleh's now back in San Francisco. Not surprised that there's a reunion there, and I would not be shocked if Bryce Huff has a pretty good year there in San Francisco for that defense.
No, yeah, he's going to have 10 sacks.
Yeah, I think a really
under Saleh and everything, I think he's going to have a nice year.
Yeah.
With that being said, he is one of the worst run stoppers I have ever watched play edge.
Matthew over on YouTube, I think, is trolling you in particular as the Philly guy because he said huge loss for Philly, 2.5 sacks last year. I think that's a direct troll of you.
Yes.
Yeah. Direct troll of you being
Bryce Huff was, from the moment he stepped on a preseason field, was like, oh, he can't play.
No, I think
it was immediate, ooh, he can't play.
I think he can play. You just have to have the right role for him, and they paid him to be more than that role.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think
I've just never seen a team that their biggest free agent acquisition, other than Saquon Barkley, was so
he went missing. He just went missing.
They didn't dress him in the playoffs.
Just he didn't exist.
They paid him millions and millions of dollars. They didn't dress him.
They gave him, what was it, a 3-year deal?
Yeah.
They gave him a ton of money.
And classic, every time he steps on the field, my dad calls him Josh Huff, as in the old receiver they used to have.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is just like the most.
It was bad. It didn't go well.
Yeah.
I expect it to go better in San Francisco.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully for him, I guess. Not hopefully for the Cardinals.
Well, I mean, yeah, if he's good, that helps.
It's going to hurt.
That helps the San Francisco team that needed some juice.
I also think, again, it's another thing that's just like, I don't know how much of that contract they're going to eat.
Yeah, do we know?
I don't know yet. There's no details on that, but it's another thing that just shrinks their window.
Yeah, it puts more pressure on this year, 100%.
Yeah. Staying in the NFL, story on Fox Sports this morning is giving out the favorite pick of a Fox Sports insider to win the Coach of the Year award. There was one name at 20-1 they loved after a big improvement last year, and that is Coach Jonathan Gannon.
20-1 is Gannon's odds to win Coach of the Year.
20-1.
The Coach of the Year award is not normally the number of wins you get or how dominant your team is. The Coach of the Year award is almost always dictated by narrative. Like, you go from worst to first, you're going to win the Coach of the Year. You go from 4 wins to 9 wins and you're a playoff team, you're going to be a finalist. Like, the age of like Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, and Sean McDermott and Andy Reid winning Coach of the Year, it's hard. It's hard for them because the expectation is for them to be great. So it's when somebody comes out of nowhere and does well. So if the Cardinals win the division and they win 10 or 11 games, I can see this because the narrative would be there. Missed the playoffs the last couple of years. Gannon's first run to the playoffs. They win double-digit games. Yes, I can see this. So 20-1, I could see you sprinkling a couple of dollars.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
No, don't hate it at all.
I actually think that I would always bet one of those guys rather than a Harbaugh.
Oh, I'm never betting one of those guys because one, the odds never make sense, and 2, they never win the award.
No.
And everybody else has to completely stink for an Andy Reid to win the Coach of the Year award again, even though he should always be a finalist because he always.
And I feel like Stefanski's always in that conversation.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not
but
anymore.
There for a minute. Yeah.
Like McVay, it's going to be hard for McVay to win a Coach of the Year award. Kevin O'Connell, is he going to win Coach of the Year this year? He's got J.J. McCarthy, a rookie, so if they win the same number of games as they did last year, I could see it. But no, it's going to be somebody that we're not expecting.
Did he win it last year or did Dane Quinn?
Did Quinn win it? I actually don't know off the top of my head who won Coach of the Year last year. I kind of assumed it was Kevin O'Connell because of how good they played. They won 14 games with Sam Darnold after losing J.J. McCarthy.
Kevin O'Connell. Okay. And he should have. He was the best coach in football.
He's not winning it again, though.
But honestly, them making a quarterback switch and it being J.J. McCarthy's first, like, gives him a chance.
It creates a narrative.
If he's playing for that, it gives him a chance.
It does create a narrative, yes. It does create a narrative. But no, I don't hate Gannon at 20-1.
Okay, we probably don't have time for one more, but the NHL playoffs. Last night, Edmonton punched their ticket to the Stanley Cup final, forcing a rematch with them and the Florida Panthers. Last year was an awesome series, went 7 games. Edmonton came back down from 3-0 to send it to 7. This year, we're going to get a rematch.
The new Stanley Cup final, same as the old Stanley Cup final. Same 2 teams that we had last year. They're running it back. It was a classic last year. A lot of travel between Florida
Edmonton and Florida.
And Edmonton. Those are some long flights between those 2 cities. About as far as you can get on the map between 2 NHL cities that are playing in the Stanley Cup final. Connor McDavid, Conn Smythe winner last year in a losing effort. Could he potentially do it again? It's how great he is. He can dominate the series. They still lose.
That's got to be so demoralizing.
I think I would pick Florida.
I think I would too. It's crazy. I think both teams are better this year than they were last year.
I agree. I think both teams are better. Yeah. And I still think Florida wins again. That's going to do it for us here on this edition of The Lunch Break. Another week in the books. Hope everybody has a great weekend. We got Jim Rome coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you on Monday. See ya!